patient. Be patient.
Hey all, hey y'all. Hey all, hey y'all. My name is Ashley Nicole Phillips. Welcome or welcome back to the Kingdom Things podcast. I am a spiritual healer, spiritual practitioner, spiritual creator, divine human, divine energy, having the human experience. Here within the Kingdom Things podcast content, the Kingdom Things podcast community, I channel energies and messages from our Creator, from God, from our Creator's creation, from all of what is, to assist with the upliftment of not only myself, not only humanity, not only planet Earth, but all of our Creator's creation, all of God's creation. So as a collective, as individuals, we are going through the rapture. We are going through the rapture, the biblically prophesized rapture. But the rapture is not about an energy or a force coming external from ourselves to save us. My notes. The rapture is truly about us going within in order to glean and embody and expand into higher frequencies of ourselves, higher widened scopes of perception of ourselves, in order to be and act and live as how God created each of us to be and act and live as, in order to activate the purposes that God seated it, in order to activate the unique purposes that God seated in each and every one of us, or each and every one of God's, our Creator's creation. Ascension and the rapture, are not the same thing. The rapture is our waking up process. Ascension and rapture are not the same thing, is what I'm channeling right now. Ascension and rapture are not the same thing. My benevolent energies, spirit guides are wanting me to specify ascension and rapture are not the same thing. Rapture is our awakening process. The rapture is the human being's awakening process, the human being awakening to the power that was always seated within the human being, the power of God, the power of our Creator, the power of Allah, the power of Source, the power of Prime Source, the power of the Central Sun, whatever you like to call the force, the energy behind what is, that energy that was seated within us, that energy that was seated within each and every one of us. The rapture is us as individuals waking up and activating that energy within. Ascension is creation. Ascension is creation. Ascension is living life as an activated being, walking in divine alignment by following your intuition, tapping into your intuition in order to navigate life, in order to continue to expand into new frequencies, new patterns of self, new ways of being, and new embodiments of self is what ascension is. And ascension is creation. Ascension is the order of things. Ascension is life. Ascension is life. Now, the lives we have created and we perpetuate are lives in which we are directed outwardly into the world. The life that the human being has manufactured, manipulated, and created is a life in which we are outwardly focused into the world, which has created a consumerism society in which we believe and feel as though let's rewind that. I'm looking at my notes. Let me rewind that. The lives we have created and we perpetuate are lives in which we are directed outwardly into the world, which has created a world that in which we are consumers, created a consumerism society in which we believe and feel as though the gathering of things or physical things outside of ourselves will somehow complete and or fulfill us. So the way we have been living as humans of planet Earth for the past couple millennia, the past somewhat more than 2,000 years, the way we've been living over the last 2,000 years has been an outwardly focused existence, to where we are giving our power away, to where we placed our own power outside of ourselves. So we have to go get our power by collecting things, accumulating things in the world to try to fulfill the places within us which feel out of balance. And why do we feel out of balance? Because we're giving our power away. Hey y'all, hey all. Just a quick break. I am so excited I get to offer this to you. Audible Premium Plus, 30-day free trial, plus 1 credit to purchase 1 available title. What is Audible Premium Plus? A library of content to expand your mind, to expand yourself outside of the conformity of who you thought you were. There are a plethora of titles to choose from. Let your mouse, let your finger land where it may, and allow yourself to explore and expand with the Audible Premium Plus 30-day free trial. I'm super excited again that I get to offer this to you. The link is in the bio on the posting of this Kingdom Things podcast video, Kingdom Things podcast content. Let's get back to the Kingdom Things podcast. We're giving our power away. We are to turn inwardly in order to activate ourselves during the season of rapture. We are to turn inwardly in order to activate ourselves in the season of rapture. And what is the rapture? Us realizing that God, creator force energy that was seated in each and every one of us in order to activate our unique purposes, in order to activate our unique frequencies, in order to activate our souls. Do y'all remember Legend of the Hidden Temple? Legend of the Hidden Temple. It was like a game show for kids. It was on one of the Nickelodeon networks, but it wasn't like the main Nick. It was like one of the Nickelodeon channels was the Legend of the Hidden Temple, and the ending portion where they're like the contestants, they run through an obstacle course to try to gather the different pieces of the statue of the puzzle. They run through an obstacle course to try to gather the different pieces of the statue, which is the puzzle. And then they have to run up the mountain at the end. After they gather all their pieces, they run up the mountain and they put the pieces of the puzzle together. This is how humanity has been invertedly living life. Legend of the Hidden Temple. Let's go outside of ourselves, run through these obstacle courses, exhaust ourselves, be out of balance to try to gather all these pieces in order to climb up this mountain. What's on this mountain? It's where I'm going to put all the pieces together and everything's going to make sense and I'm going to be fulfilled. This is how humanity has been living life. This is how we have perpetuated and created life to be. We're going to go ahead and get into a segment of this podcast installment, channeled messages that I channeled from God, channeled messages, channeled energies from our Creator, breaking the matrix. We, the infinite souls of the experiment of the human being of planet Earth, have been encapsulated in this experiment, this rectification of all of infinite creation. This experiment in which is a rectification of all of human creation. You want to know why many of us have had turbulent and traumatic lives? Many of us are high frequency souls, energies, beings who incarnated in the Earth experiment of human being of planet Earth, and this experiment of the human being of planet Earth in order to rectify the energies of all of infinite creation. We have been encapsulated in this experiment of the human being of planet Earth for millennia, for the span of infinite creation, as everything is happening at once. This is why the amnesiatic encapsulation that we've been in is one in which feels like a birth into a new reality as we are birthed into infinite creation, in which many of us have had experiences, have been involved in experiments from all across the span of infinite creation. But it feels as though we are being birthed into a brand new reality that is infinite creation, because we have been encapsulated in the amnesiatic fluid, just like a baby is encapsulated in the placenta, in the fluid in the mother's womb. We have been encapsulated in this amnesiatic fluid for the span of infinite creation, as everything is happening at once. So as we are now being awakened to our infinite nature, it feels as though we are being awakened to a brand new reality, when in all actuality, we again are high frequency energies, high frequency beings, high frequency lights that have been involved and assisted with the creation of much of infinite creation. Welcome back. They knew our ancient ancestors of planet Earth knew that the point of existence within creation, the point of life on planet Earth, is to assist with the evolution of creation. How do we assist with the evolution of creation? By knowing thyself, by coming into deeper levels of intimacy with self within. They knew. Why did many ancient architecture, many ancient sites align with astrological constellations, astrological destinations? Because they knew. As below, so above. The fourth and final Kali Yuga, which marked the fourth and final Kali Yuga, which marked a 2,000 year span and linear time of disruption of the flow of divinity, as the human beings of planet Earth were not in alignment with the purpose of the mechanism of the human being with all of infinite creation. This 2-year fourth and final Kali Yuga officially comes to an end in linear time, the year 2029, the Gregorian calendar of planet Earth. Why the year 2029? 2029 of the Gregorian calendar will mark the space in creation in which the alchemy of energies of planet Earth, with the contribution of the alchemy of the energies of the embodiment of the human being, will be balanced in a way in which will contribute to, the human being will be balanced in a way in which will shift Father, Mother, Gaia into alignment with God's plan, with divine creation. God's plan is lucid and ever-changing. God's plan is lucid and ever-changing. As we attempt to figure out reality, figure out life, figure out God's plan, we create more dysfunction. We create more energies that are out of alignment with God's plan. We must become heart-centered beings, live and be as heart-centered beings, and navigate life as heart-centered beings in order to garner understanding of in every moment, in order to garner understanding of what is to come of every moment. We call it being psychic. It's operating as a heart-centered being, operating as divinity. The drying up of the Euphrates River. The drying up of the Euphrates River. As I have stated and channeled many times in the history of the Kingdom Things podcast, God, the Most High Creator, our Creator, the Central Sun, Source, Prime Source, Allah, whatever you term the power, creator behind creation to be, whatever you call the creator behind creation to be. The Most High Creator, God, Goddess, Source, Essential Sun, Allah, Prime Source, is methodical and meticulous and precise, to say the least. Prime Source, God, Goddess, Source, is methodical, meticulous, to say the least. God, Goddess, creates everything to occur in cycles and phases. God, Goddess, creates everything to occur in cycle and phases, so that you, in order to grow and expand as an energy, as a being on whichever planet or realm you find yourself in, have to face the energy in which you incarnated in that space to alchemize, to transmute, to change into something else, to alchemize into something else. You have to face the energy that you incarnated in that space to alchemize in order to move into your next phase. And even with moving into your next phase, you are going to face the energy in which you alchemized in your previous cycle, your previous phase. The Euphrates River drying up is the start, the beginning of a new phase, a new cycle in which we, humanity, have to face the new cycle of creation. The new cycle of creation being the cycle in which we are no longer codependent on each other, but are walking in alignment with the divinity, anchored within our divinity, within the energy that is beyond, far beyond this planet, this earth, this realm. No longer are we codependent on each other. Our codependency on each other only keeps us in the same, repeating the same cycle of creation and never evolving past that same cycle of creation, because we are all inundated with the energies of the same cycle of creation. If we're codependent on each other, we're only repeating cycles of the same cycle of creation. The Euphrates River drying up is significant and signifies the beginning of a new cycle of creation in which humans are aligned with our divinity, and we are anchored within the energies that are within us, and supersede this planet, supersede this realm, supersede the dimensionality of conformity of humanity's past. New World, a God Dream. I will restore to you that in which the locust has eaten. I will restore unto you the years in which the enemy has taken every human being of planet Earth to see through the shifts that will occur in phases as we all, as individual human beings, as we all, as individuals, as human beings, as individual human beings, shift into higher states of being, shift into higher frequency patterns of being, shift into higher, more expansive consciousnesses. These shifts will happen in phases. All of the phases of the shifts of the human being of planet Earth will be completed by the year 2030 of the Gregorian calendar. All of the shifts of the phases of the shifts of the human being of planet Earth will be complete by the year 2030, of the Gregorian calendar. I will restore unto you that in which the locust hath eaten. I will restore unto you the years in which the enemy has taken. With being a human being of planet Earth, with the expanded consciousness dwelling within the high frequency patterning of planet Earth, past the year 2030 of the Gregorian calendar, of the timeline of the human beings of planet Earth, you will be aligned with divinity, aligned with your higher self. You will be an immortal human being of planet Earth. I will restore unto you that in which the locust has eaten. I will restore unto you the years in which the enemy has taken. You will be an immortal human being of planet Earth. What if the things we perceive to be pieces? What if the things that we perceive to be pieces are not broken parts, but are operating as they should? Defining pieces in this lecture, in this podcast, we're going to define pieces. This is from the New Oxford American Dictionary. A portion of an object or material produced by cutting or breaking the whole. Pieces, a portion of an object or material produced by cutting or breaking the whole. What if the things we perceive to be pieces are not broken or misplaced parts, but are operating as they should? We spend our lives trying to accumulate what we perceive as elements or pieces of our lives while fearing not completing the lives in which we desire. We spend our lives trying to accumulate things and pieces that we perceive to be separate. We want the perfect relationship. We want the perfect career. We want stable finances. We want the perfect home and family. We want to be fulfilled in and of ourselves. We want to know what we like. We want this, we want that. What if these pieces are not pieces, but elements of the whole picture? That we're just looking at segments. Therefore, we're not able to perceive the full image of what everything. We're not able to perceive that it is a full image. That everything is cohesive. Everything is working together. No facet in your life is working against the next. We perceive life in pieces. Home is over here. Family is over here. Relationship over here. Job, career over here. What I like is over there. What if these things aren't pieces? What if we flip our perceptions to see everything, put everything together, and see that everything has always been a whole and operating in the utmost benevolent, operating for the utmost benevolent outcome for yourself and the cohesiveness of your desires, of everything that you want in your life. Nothing that you want in your life is intended to be an element that will work against the next. Nothing that you desire or want in your life is intended to be an element that's working against the next. Everything was designed and crafted to work together simultaneously, cohesively, with ease. But our perception and how we created life to where we have to go outside of ourselves instead of going inwardly to activate our own energy, to activate our own seed that was planted within us. We go outwardly to gather pieces when if we were to turn inwardly, with turning inwardly and activating the energy that we are, we step into new levels of the perception of reality and understand that everything that is occurring in your life is working for your benefit. There's no good or bad. There's no evil or saintly. Everything that occurs in your life is a lesson to assist you with operating, being, creating, and experiencing your life. As soon as things seem to be falling apart, we attempt to fix things and or run from things in which we seem to be out of order from how we want and desire our lives to be. Touch my heart, touch my heart, touch my heart chakra. Looking at my notes. As soon as things seem to be falling apart, we attempt to fix things and or run from the things in which seem to be out of order from how we want and desire our lives to be. No piece, no part, no element of our life is working in opposition to any other piece or part in our life. Whether you term it to be good or bad, everything is contributing to the cohesiveness of your existence. What we do is we stagnate ourselves with trying to fix things. We stagnate ourselves with trying to fix things. That thing is, it seems to be falling apart, but the seed of life, it's one circle. In order for life creation to happen, what does the creation do? It spawns different parts. It spawns out into different parts of self. Different parts of self spawn out. Like the seed of life, you have one sphere that multiplies into many spheres to create the flower of life. Just as in a cell or an embryo, as we see this plant embryo, it starts out with one part, but it seems to be, as it grows, as the embryo grows, it expands into many parts. It starts out as seemingly one part, but as the embryo continues to grow and expand, it expands to seemingly many parts. As soon as things seem to be falling apart, we attempt to fix things and or run from things in which seem to be out of order from how we want our desires and lives to be. Things falling apart is a thing, a perception switch that we have to shift. It's not falling apart, it's falling into creation. Things aren't falling apart, things are falling into creation, but we run from the falling because we fear that in which seems to be out of alignment from how we want things to go, because we have been living in a society where we have a dualistic consciousness, where we feel like there is good or bad, and we feel like the good is working in opposition to the bad, and the bad is working in opposition to the good, when in all actuality, the good and the bad are polarities that make one whole. No part of our life is working in opposition to the other. Everything is attempting to work in a cohesive manner in order to unfold within our reality, in order to unfold within self, in order to unfold into reality. As you see the plant embryo, it starts out as seemingly one part, but as the embryo grows, just like as the cell, our cells, just as the embryo, when the cell multiplies, when the embryo of a baby in a mother's womb, just as the cell grows, the one part seems to be falling into many parts, but it's actually falling into creation. What we do is we try to fix things when things seem to be falling apart. We run from things when things seem to be falling apart, when in all actuality, things are falling into creation. There is no good or bad. Everything is working in a cohesive manner. Everything is attempting to work in a cohesive manner in order to bring us into new levels, higher frequencies of reality, new levels of reality. What is the things that are falling apart are growing into something new? What are the things that are falling apart are growing into something new? The things that seem to be falling apart are actually ourselves and our reality growing into expanded elements. The things that seem to be falling apart are actually ourselves and our reality expanding into new elements. We're going to define new elementals. So the things that seem to be falling apart, the things that it's not falling apart, this is not falling apart, it's growing meat on the inside. The things that seem to be falling apart are actually ourselves and our realities growing into new and expanded elementals. We're going to define elementals as embodying the powers of nature. Elementals embodying the powers of nature. And this definition of elementals is from Oxford Languages. What if the things that have fallen apart are growing into something new? The things that seem to be falling apart are actually ourselves and our reality growing into expanded elementals. The things that seem to be falling apart are actually ourselves and our reality growing into expanded elementals. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me on this installment, this episode of the Kingdom Things podcast. Again, I am your host, Ashley Nicole Phillips, Divine Energy, as we are all divine energies having a human experience, spiritual creator, spiritual practitioner, spiritual healer, spiritual energy aligner, having a human experience. If you are interested in my group powwow sessions and my powwow sessions, please email me personally at kingdomthings@podcast@gmail.com, kingdomthingspodcast@gmail.com to inquire about my group powwow sessions. Ashley, what do you do in your group powwow sessions? I channel specific energies and messages that are an alchemy of energies and messages for each specific group in order to assist with the energetic alignment of each specific individual and each specific group, in order to break each specific individual out of energies that are stagnating them from realizing the tools, the knowledge that you already have within. In order to assist you with navigating through life, in order to assist you with widening your scope and perception of yourself, in order to assist you with widening your scope and perception of what is reality, a more limitless reality, a less confined reality. So my spiritual group powwow sessions, I provide energy alignment with the energies and messages that I channel to each group, for each individual in each group. Again, it's kingdomthingspodcast@gmail.com in order to inquire about my spiritual powwow sessions. I'm also an author. I wrote Asia's story, the story of Asia. Coming Home, the story of Asia is now available to purchase in the Amazon bookstore, which I'm super proud of myself and super excited. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Coming Home, the story of Asia is available in the Amazon bookstore for the Kindle app. The Kindle app is completely free. You're able to go to Amazon bookstore and purchase Coming Home, the story of Asia, so that you're able to scroll through and read that as you please. Like I noted in my author bio, like sometimes if you're like feeling down, if you just open up Coming Home, the story of Asia, and then just scroll to whichever page and stop on that page and read that page, and I guarantee you there's going to be a message on that page to assist you in that moment. I guarantee you there's going to be a message on that page to assist you in that moment. I also have Coming Home, the story of Asia, recorded by myself, narrated by myself, available here on the Kingdom Things podcast. Just go to the playlist. You'll see the Coming Home, the story of Asia playlist there. I also sing and write music, which is near and dear to my heart. All of my work you can find in the link of the posting of this Kingdom Things podcast, as well as my email to inquire about the Kingdom Things podcast group powwow sessions, where I provide energy alignment services. I'm super glad that you found Kingdom Things podcast. I'm glad that you found Kingdom Things podcast. All the Kingdom Things podcast content is timeless. All of the Kingdom Things podcast content is timeless. So just scroll through, and wherever your finger lands, wherever your mouse lands, there's most likely something in that content, in that video, in that podcast that is intended to be uplifting to yourself, that is specifically something that your soul needs in the moment. Again, my name is Ashley Nicole Phillips. I'm so glad that you're here. You're alive while I'm alive. So glad that you're here in this monumental sacred time of the human collective, of planet Earth, of all of it, God's creation. I love you. Love on yourself. Self-love is the best love because you're worthy of that. Self-love is the best love because in order for other people to love you the way you would like other people to love you, you have to love yourself in that manner first. Self-love is the best love because we are all worthy of love. So give yourself the love. Give yourself the love that you're worthy of. Bye.
Be patient.